empezaron lo que ahora llaman Tejano, Freddie Martinez, Agustín Ramírez, Sani Osuna, Joe Bravo y Carlos Guzmán.
Right here on Houston's Finest on radio. Johnny Lazo, let's go to the phone lines. On the phone, Mr. Freddie Martinez. How are you, sir?
Doing good. How are you doing, Johnny?
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us this afternoon, and welcome to Houston's Finest on radio. You were just saying you may have some rain in Corpus Christi. We may have some rain here in Houston as well. So, you know what?
That's good.
Yeah, we need some.
Good.
It's always a good thing to have some rain, sir. First of all, Mr. Martinez, I mean, it's an honor to have you, and as a pioneer of Tejano music, and of course of Chicano music as well. I'm going to get you to talk about the early years of Chicano music. Can you go into the early years of the 60s, 70s, when you were a disc jockey at Corpus Christi's radio station? How did it feel to be a disc jockey back then?
Well, when they asked me how long I've been in the music business, my answer to that is all my life. And the reason for that is because I come from on my mother's side, I come from a musical family, just a lot of musicians, very good musicians. And I have an older brother who's also a musician. I have an older sister. They were born in a hospital. Now, I was born at home, and I don't know why I was born at home. But since I was born at home, I figured that I must have heard a musical note the first day that I was born because of all my family. So that's why I say that I've been in the music business all my life. But professionally, I've been in business. I started when I was 15 years old with my first band, and next year it'll be 60 years of music. I started the recording company me and my wife did in 1969 after having been recording with just a bunch of other recording companies here in Texas. So, yes, I was in this business since I was very young, and I used to look up to people like Isidro Lopez, who was from Corpus also. He was a great, he had a great band. My brother played with him. So I was influenced by him very much so. And my buddies like Sonny and Agustin, they kind of made it before I did. They had their hit songs before I did back in the 60s. My good career started when I was back in 1970 when I had Necesito Tu Amor, Botoncito de Cariño, and then Muñequita de Canela, then Un Par de Ojitos, Mi Árbol y Yo, and Detrás de estas Flores. So, I've been around a long time. I have.
So you've been around a long 60 years in the business, Mr. Martinez, a pioneer of Chicano music. The question I got for you, Mr. Martinez, I mean, when you built your record label back in 1969, it was about, what was the initial investment? Was it $400 thereabout, and how to get your business started? And where is it now? I mean, from $400 to right now, where are we at with Freddie Records?
Well, the reason I started recording, like I said, I recorded with I would say around 15 recording companies, and I was never able to get nowhere. And the way God works, I was just struggling. But when I started the recording company with $400, like you said, me and my wife did, I told her, if I want to continue this business, I need to record, and I don't have anybody else to record with, so we're going to have to save up a few bucks and get something going here. So we did. We saved $400, and I went to the studio and I recorded my single. And just like that, that was in November of 1969. This year it'll be 47 years that we've had the recording company. And within 6 months, the phone was just ringing off of the wall. Because I had Necesito Tu Amor, which was my first pretty good hit, but then came along Botoncito de Cariño, which was a monster hit. And that opened up a lot of doors for me everywhere. And then right after that, like I said, Muñequita, Canela, Par de Ojitos. And then when the Detrás de estas Flores came along in 1972, that one just completely blew up, everything open. All the doors from all over the United States and in Mexico and other countries. And from the smallest radio station to the largest, they were playing my music.
They were playing your music throughout the nation and throughout the state of Texas. I got a question for you, Mr. Martinez. I mean, at this time, who are you following? Are you following any of the new artists, the Conjunto or Tejano artists? And what's your opinion on these new artists and the established artists that are being played right now on the radio?
Right now, we're focused very much so on Los Palominos, because they just signed a contract with a company. And they put out the first CD, and it's doing very well with them. Now, I have a Christmas concert that I do every year. I've been doing it for 14 years at my church. It's Most Precious Blood Church Incorporated. It's a big church. And the Palominos are going to participate this year with me in the concert. Tony has been doing it forever. Carlos Guzman of Jimmy Gonzalez Grupo Más, and this year is going to be Palominos. And I wrote a couple of songs for them, and you'll probably be getting a copy of one of them that we're going to promote in the Christmas season. It's called Amor, Paz y Felicidad. Those are the Palominos. And I also wrote one that's called Soy tu Dios y yo te quiero mucho. So that's what's going to be in the Christmas concert and the one that we're going to promote for Christmas. Now, Palominos is a group that I look up to very much. Now, even though Ramon Ayala is not with us any longer, he decided to start his own thing for his children. He's got a company. It's called Accordion King. But he was with us for 38 years. Wow. He is such a good man, such a good musician. He's my compadre, and I wish him very well. But he's another one that I look up to because he's really something. I mean, he did over 80 different CDs with the companies with us during the period of 38 years. So he's one that I look up to. We also have with us right now the Grupo Sólido. We have Jimmy Gonzalez, Grupo Más. We just have, and throughout the years, we've had all the legends by themselves and then together. Agustín Ramirez, we've had Lil Joe, we've had Roberto Pulido, Carlos Guzmán, Sonia Osuna, Joe Bravo, Carlos Miranda, on and on and on and on. And if we go to the conjuntos that we call conjuntos internacional or conjuntos tejanos, well, we've had a lot of it, like Los Invasores recorded with us and just a bunch of others. But the Texas conjuntos who were very strong was Tony de la Rosa, Rubén Naranjo, Rubén Vela, Steve Jordan, Freddie Gomez. All of those guys recorded with us. So here with us through our company within the last 40 so many years, we've had just a lot of good groups, a lot of success with the groups that recorded with us. And my job right now is in the recording studio. I select a lot of the music that's recorded by our different groups. And my sons, I've got 3 sons, as you know, Freddie Jr., John, and Mark. They all have different departments in the company. Freddie Jr. handles some of the groups, and John handles the publishing company and the employees. Mark handles all the promotion. And so that gives me time to spend my time in the recording studio. I don't have to go to the main offices anymore for promotion or for production or anything like that. My time is in the recording studio.
Well, that's, it's a family business, basically, with your sons running that part of the business. Mr. Martinez, I got a question for you. How tough was it in the early years for a female artist and a male artist to record in a record label? Was it a tough situation? Was it easy to go and record back in the 60s and 70s?
Well, yes, it was because we didn't have very many female artists. We had Laura Canales, who started back then, and of course she did very well. And then Selena started after that. And Selena did her very first CD with us here at Freddie Records when she was like about 11 years old or something like that. So, but there was not very many female singers back then. Now the guys, well, yes, we had a bunch of back then. there was a bunch of orchestras, more so than there is today, I believe. And, we had, like I said, all the legends, Agustin, Sonny, Joe, and Little Joe, and everybody. But most of the guys, like Little Joe has his own company. Agustin had Guti Records. Sonny had Key Lock Records. Carlos Guzman had Impacto. And so I started Freddie Records in, like I said, 1969. But it was difficult. The financing part of it was difficult because if you didn't have a big, strong monster hit, well, you couldn't finance yourself. Luckily, thanks to God, that I had a string of hits where I was able to finance everything that was going on, the promotion and the traveling and everything. So that's why it was, for me, when I started Freddie Records. Before Freddie Records, it was really difficult because all I did was jump from one company to the other. I recorded with Ideal Records, I recorded with Falcon Records, with Bernal Records, with Bego, with La Poca, with Texas, with Pan Am, with Gino. I go on and on and on. I recorded with all those companies and never was I able to get anything going for myself until I started Freddie Records. Now, I'm not saying that the other companies didn't push me. What I'm saying is that it just wasn't my time yet. It wasn't my time to do anything. Because I went for 12 years recording with different companies before I started Freddie Records. But when I started Freddie Records, like I said before, within 6 months, I was working like 5-6 nights a week. Everywhere in the States, I did my West Coast tours, which covered like 12 weeks. I did my East Coast tours, which covered like 2 months. And I went into Mexico, which I did a lot of work all over Mexico. As a matter of fact, in 1973, out of the 31 days in December, we worked 30 days, so we had just 1 day off. We did half of the month in Mexico and the other half here in the United States. So that's how it was. After Freddie Records, it became much more easier for me. Mm-hmm. But in the 1960s, it was very difficult.
Well, the question I have from our listeners is, do you recall working with the Johnny and the Mystiques and a songwriter named Joe Guzman on some projects back in the 60s and 70s?
Joe Guzman?
Yeah, with Joe Guzman. Do you recall working with him as a songwriter?
Yeah, I remember the name, yes.
And he worked with Johnny and the Mystiques here in Houston, a band that was playing very popular back in the 60s and 70s.
Off again.
No problem. Again, a very popular band back in the 60s and 70s, Johnny and the Mystiques, with Joe Guzman on some projects. And you do recall the name? I mean, do you recall? Freddie, let's go. We're going to go to a song here. Let's go to a song. We'll go right back with Freddie Martinez on Houston's Finest, TEJANO Radio.
Te traigo estas flores que corté por la mañana en pruebas de amor. Este corazón que te ama, con ellas te mando amor y ternura, y que Dios te guarde, hermosa criatura, que eres toda mi ilusión. Te traigo estas flores porque no encontré palabras de amor, que no sé cómo explicarlas, y cuando te acercas me lleno de miedo, me da mucha pena. ¿Será que no puedo decir lo que siento yo? Son un humilde tributo a tu belleza encantadora, son pa' que adorne tu frente y tu sonrisa soñadora. Recibe con ellas de mi alma un suspiro, y ya me retiro pa' seguir soñando que es mío tu corazón. Te traigo estas flores porque no encontré palabras de amor, que no sé cómo explicar. largas y cuando te acercas me lleno de miedo, me da mucha pena. ¿Será que no puedo decir lo que siento yo? Solo un humilde tributo a tu belleza encantadora, son bañador de tu frente y tu sonrisa soñadora. Recibe con ellas de mi alma un suspiro y ya me retiro para seguir soñando que es mío tu corazón.
You're locked on to Houston's finest, TEJANO Radio, the music of Freddie Martinez, live from Corpus Christi, Texas, a TEJANO legend, right here on Houston's finest. You know, speaking of Traigo Estas Flores, Mr. Martinez, I understand that song was recorded up to 7 different versions, so I've only played 2 versions out of the 7 versions, so that's an amazing song, a hit song for you, Traigo Estas Flores. I have a question for you. The question is the Galvan Ballroom story in Corpus Christi. Can you tell us a little bit about the Galvan Ballroom, how important it was in the early years of Chicano music?
Well, the Galvan Ballroom, my mother was a Galvan. So my grandfather, Rafael Galvan, built the Galvan Ballroom so that he had 4 sons, the Galvan brothers. Those are the musicians that I was talking about. They had the Galvan brothers band, the Real Galvan band, and it was like the big band sound. They used to play like Glenn Miller music, and and so my grandfather, so that they wouldn't have to go on the road. He didn't want them to go on the road. He built the Galvan Ballroom there and that was the first ballroom here in Corpus back then. That was built in 1950. We didn't have the Exposition Hall or the Coliseum or anything. And the biggest thing was the Galvan Ballroom. So at the time when it was built, I was 8 years old, and so every week I used to go with my mother and my dad to the ballroom, to the Galvan Ballroom. They had a little snack bar there, so while they were at the snack bar, I was listening to the different bands that would play there every week. We had my uncle, the Galvan brother. We had Beto Villa. We had Pablo Gonzalez. I don't know if you're familiar with those names or not.
Yes, I am.
But those were big names back in the 50s, you know. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so that's why my grandfather built the ballroom so that my uncle wouldn't have to go travel out of town. And it was a big thing. Besides all the big Tejano groups, back then they weren't known as Tejano, but that's really what they were. Beto Villa played kind of the same music that we play now, maybe a little different, but it was Mexican music. So it was Pablo Gonzalez and a lot of other bands. But also the ballroom brought bands like Tommy Dorsey, Jimmy Dorsey, Duke Ellington, Gene Krupa. Some of those big bands came and worked at the ballroom in those years. So the ballroom is, like I said, a landmark right now. And it's owned by one of my uncles now, who has a music store there in the bottom floor. And then, of course, he has the Galvan Ballroom on the second floor. But, that was part of my bringing up because it was my grandfather's ballroom.
And that ballroom is that still open in Corpus Christi?
Oh, yes. They have, they don't have public dances. It's mostly for weddings or quinceañeras or things like that, but it's they have an event there every week. They have events there at the ballroom.
So, thank you for sharing that story. When you were in school, you were first chair trumpet player during your school years. And here's a question for you: Why are some vocalists hard to deal with? I mean, that's a question that I wanted to ask you. When you work,
I guess that. Well, in my case, where I started, I was a backup singer. I was not the main singer. I had a guy that sang with me, and it lasted about a year, and then he moved on, and then another singer came around, and this guy wrote a song that we recorded, and he was a singer. He wrote the song, and he sang it with a band, and it was called Mi Destino. And in this area, the Corpus Christi in South Texas, it was a pretty nice little hit, So this guy decided, well, I'm the singer. I'm the one that wrote the song. Why is your name bigger on the record than it is than mine? And so all I could answer was, well, because it's my band, it's my equipment. And anyway, he moved along, and we got another singer to come in with us, and the same thing happened. He wanted to do his own thing. Once he recorded a couple of songs with us, he wanted to do his own thing. He moved along. So by then I said, you know what, I'm the backup singer. I better give it a try. Otherwise, I'm going to be changing singers left and right, though. So I gave it a try, and of course, I went on a few years before I could do anything either, But that gave me a lot of training. I started my music training when I was 9 years old with a professor in the neighborhoods who taught what you call solfeggio. I don't know if you're familiar with solfeggio or not, but that's really like training your ear. It's it trains your ear and it shows you how to read music. I studied with that man for about 3 years, and I moved on to another professor, and then I moved on to my uncles. I took private lessons from a couple of my uncles and my brother. So when I went to middle school, which back then was junior high school, I was in the 7th grade, and they usually put all the 7th graders like the beginners band, like the C band, because they're going to get their instrument for the first time and start learning. So they put me in the C band because I was in the 7th grade, and when the band director said we're going to have tryouts for the B band and for the A band, anybody was interested could go. So I went into the room, and I was real short at the time. I was just 7th grader. And the band director asked me if I was trying out for the B band. I said, no, trying out for the A band. So he kept on asking me, you're a 7th grader, how come? I said, well, I had a little training before. So anyway, I went on to the tryouts and everything, and the next day they posted the numbers and everything. And so I was first chair for 3 years there in middle school. I was a band director. I was the drum major. So I had a good time there in the band, and really that's all I've done in my life, music. I took algebra and I took English and history and all those, and I was just very, very average on those subjects. But when it came to music, that's all that mattered to me.
Well, and I think that's great, Mr. Martinez. I mean, it mattered to you and the successful business in regards to Freddie Records. Again, Freddie Martinez live on Houston's Finest Tejano Radio. You can post your questions on my Facebook page or on Houston's Finest Tejano Radio page. We're going to go into another song, and after we get through with this next song, I want to go into the segment of the Tejano Music Awards, Grammys, Latin Grammys, just to ask you some questions in regards to the awards show. So let's play another. Okay. Let's go ahead and play another song from Freddie Martinez on Houston's Finest Tejano Radio live.
Tú eres la reina de mi amor. Que te quiero todavía, aunque me hagas llorar. Hombres no deben de llorar, pero te vengo llorando. Tú eres la reina de mi amor, reina de mi amor. Sin ti yo no puedo vivir, yo no puedo existir, por lo tanto que te quiero. Contigo me siento como un rey, pero sin ti mejor me muero. Tú eres la reina de mi amor, tú eres la reina de mi vida, y sabes que te quiero todavía, aunque me hagas llorar. Hombres no deben de llorar, pero te vengo llorando. Tú eres la reina de mi amor, reina de mi amor. Sin ti yo no puedo vivir, yo no puedo existir, por lo tanto que te quiero. Contigo me siento como un rey, pero sin ti mejor me muero. Hombres no deben de llorar, pero te vengo llorando. Tú eres la reina de mi amor, reina de mi amor.
You're locked on to Houston's finest Tejano radio on a Wednesday afternoon. Johnny Lazo, the music of Mr. Freddie Martinez from Corpus Christi, Texas, live on the radio, and he's live from Corpus Christi. Mr. Martinez, I have another question for you. In regards to Tejano Music Awards, Grammys, and Latin Grammys, should a record label influence the awards?
Well, no, it has to do with the music that you produce, and of course, we spend a lot of time in the recording studio. We have 2 recording studios. Completely equipped, and we spend a lot of time there. We spend a lot of time with the different songs and the composers that we record. And but you get a company like ours who spends that much time, on all the grooves. And when a group comes into the company, we let them know, look, we're going to shoot for a Grammy, but we need to do this, we need to do that, and so far, with all the grooves that we have, and since they started giving the Grammys to the Tejano people and everything, we've earned over 250 Grammys.
Wow.
With all of our artists. I myself have 6 Grammys. Besides that, the Tejanos in San Antonio, I've gotten, the award there for Hall of Famer and Lifetime Achievement Award. And so I've got, most of the awards that are given out here and there, I've got here in Corpus.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
There's a place where they have the Hall of Fame for musicians, and I'm in there with a star. I've got a couple of stars in the Rio Grande Valley, one in Hidalgo, one in Edinburgh, in San Antonio, in West Texas, and just about everywhere they've given me the award for either El Más Taquillero, which means the guy that brings in the most crowds, and for the biggest seller in music. It's understood that the only song in the Tejano business that has ever done over 1 million copy sales is Te Traigo Estas Flores. We had a lot of big hits throughout the year with different artists and everything, but the only one that's pushed over 1 million copies is Te Traigo Estas Flores.
And that took place back in 1971, so congratulations in regards to that. 1 million copies sold. So you're saying basically a record label, a major record label, does not have any influences on the Tejano Music Awards, Grammys, or Latin. If they did, they shouldn't do that, right? I mean, they should just let the music speak. And
no, I really don't think so. Because with the Grammys is very important. I mean, there's a lot of money involved there with the sponsors and the television networks and everything. They cannot afford to be criticized or to say that the record company influenced them to do this or to do that. Here some years ago, there's 5 nominations for the category of Tejano, and here 7, 8, 9 years ago, all 5 nominations were from our company. There was a little talk here and there that how come all the nominations are from Freddie Records? Well, the reason for that was because we had most of the Tejano artists record for us, as we do now, This year, Jay Perez is nominated, and the Legends are nominated for the Grammys, and both Jay and ourselves are with Freddie Records. And, of course, our good friend Michael Salgado, who was with us for many, many years, he's also nominated with his own company. But no, as your question was, I don't think there's any influencer that any big company can either influence the Grammys or to do something to get the Grammy. I think it's it's a vote between all the members of the Academy, and it depends on who gets the votes.
Well, very well put, Mr. Martinez. Thank you so much for tackling that issue and that question. I have a question from Facebook. They're asking, why did Tony Guerrero of La Sombra leave the label? If you'd like to explain.
Well, he was offered a better deal that he thought was a better deal with a company out of Los Angeles. And before he left, I talked to him. I said, look, you've been with us from the beginning, and you've had some good success here. And with us, you're a star. You're one of the main guys here, and elsewhere with a major company, you might just be a number. But they paid him some good bucks. They paid him some very good money. So he left, and he left the company back then, and that's the end of the story.
Well, there you go. That's the answer to that question. Thank you, Mr. Martinez. And I appreciate you tackling such an issue because, people could say a lot of things in regards to why Tony left the company, but I thank you for addressing the question in regards to that. I have another question for you. The ARC's annual gala that takes place in Corpus Christi, what's your involvement in that?
Well, I'm a member of the board of directors. I've been there since the ARC started, some 16 years ago, and the person in charge of that is a Sister Milagros. This is a nun, and as a matter of fact, the priest that started the ARC with Sister Milagros was a Monsignor. And he passed away a few years ago. His name was Monsignor Freeman. He married me and my wife 53 years ago. Wow. He was just a priest back then. He married my wife and I back then. Anyway, they started the ARC, and they asked me to be a member from the very beginning, and I was. And that's my main concern right now. I'm involved with the ARC, which is children that have been abused by their parents or by whomever, and we take them in at the ARC Assessment Center, and we assess them, and we give them schooling and doctors and everything, and then place them where they're supposed to be in a safe place. That's with the ARC Assessment Center. Then I also try to help out St. Jude Hospital and here in Corpus, Driscoll Children's Hospital. I'm very concerned with the children. I want everything good for the children, and I feel so bad when I see a child that's been abused or that's been hurt or something. So I try to get as involved as I can with anything that has to do with children that need our help.
There you go. Very well, and a great organization that is in Corpus Christi, the ARC Annual Gala, which you're our board of director. I'm going to play another one of your songs, and then out of that song, I'm going to talk to you in regards to, I guess, the 1971. You know what? Let's go into another song from Freddie Martinez. Listeners, if you have any questions or comments, just Facebook me. Let me know on our page, Houston'sFinest.radio.com, or on my page. Let me know again. Let's go with one more song from Freddie Martinez. Algo que dice Con Cariño. Houston's Finest, Tejano Radio, live with Freddie Martinez.
Mereces que te trate con cariño y conmigo tendrás todo lo que quieras. Viviré para ti nomás, mujer hermosa. Viviré solo para ti, mujer tan buena. Con cariño voy a darte 1000 abrazos y serás de las mujeres envidiadas. Este amor que es tan bonito gozaremos. Mi corazón te robaste, prenda amada, y con cariño voy a entregarme contigo, y junto a tu lindo pecho mi corazón dejaré. Y en tu ventana te cantaré mis canciones como homenaje sincero a la mujer que adoré. Tú mereces que te trate con cariño y conmigo tendrás todo lo que quieras. Viviré para ti nomás, mujer hermosa. Viviré solo para ti, mujer tan buena. Con cariño voy a darte 1000 abrazos y serás de las mujeres envidiadas. De este amor que es tan bonito gozaremos. Mi corazón te robaste, prenda amada. Y con cariño voy a entregarme contigo. Y junto a tu lindo pecho mi corazón dejaré. Y en tu ventana te cantaré mis canciones como homenaje sincero a la mujer que adoré.
Music of Freddie Martinez on Houston's finest Tejano Radio. Johnny Lazo with you till 2 o'clock. Wow, classic song, Con Cariño. Thank you so much for listening, and you're a part of the world. Again, live with Freddie Martinez. Freddie, I mean, here's a question for you. I mean, you as an established artist, you as a pioneer and a legend of Tejano music, if a new artist was listening to this program right now, how could you give some advice to an up-and-coming new artist? What would you say to he or her?
Well, I would say this is a tough business. It's difficult. It's hard. But if that's what's in your heart, if that's what you want for life, do not give up. I mean, if the first recording doesn't work, go to the next one and the next one. Do not give up, because remember, I went for 12 years and I recorded with 15 different recording companies with nothing happening. And then I started Freddie Records, and that's when things happened. So I would say to a new artist, if you think you have what it takes, which is talent, will, heart, keep it up. Do not give up, because sooner or later your time will come.
Very well put, Mr. Freddie Martinez. And my next question I have for you is, again, moving to more current events in regards to the politics of this United States of America. What are your views on the presidential, the candidates in regards to the GOP and the Democrats? What do you think about that, since the election is just a week away? So what do you think in regards to that?
Well, there's so much going on that you don't know what to think, because one day you hear about Trump, the next day you hear about Hillary, and so I believe this has been a very difficult campaign, and especially it's for our president, who we need to have a good president to lead the country. But it has been difficult, and I believe that even though I understand that there's a record of people turning out to vote, but just about everybody that I talk to, they can't make up their minds.
Wow, that's amazing for you to say that. They cannot make up their minds. The latest information, it's a dead heat right now. It's pretty much even throughout the United States, and some states it's even closer by just a decimal point. So, again, get out and vote. I mean, that's an important thing to do.
Yes.
It's very important. Again, express your views in regards to voting on November the 8th. Let me see. One more question for you in regards to, Corpus Christi has Freddie Records, has Hacienda Records, and Q Productions. I would like to see one day the three labels come together and do something really big. Do you think that's going to happen in my lifetime?
Well, it probably could. We get along real well with both companies. Rick from Hacienda, he's the one that runs Hacienda Records. Because Roland just passed away a few months ago, the main owner. Right. But Rick, his brother, Rick used to work for me at the beginning. He got his first experience working at Freddie Records. He used to be one of our engineers. Real nice young man, a great guy, good friend of ours. We would have no problems doing anything with him. And with Abraham, of course, Selena recorded her first recording with us. If you see the movie, when Abraham comes and says, Freddie, you need to give her a break. We're family. Well, he's talking about me.
Wow.
Because he did come to me and brought Selena to us, and I don't see Abraham very often because his office is away on the other side of town. But when we see each other, yeah, we speak and we have good conversations. But if it ever comes to be about, I would love to do something with all three companies together and just have a big bang, bring everybody from the state of Texas and the United States to see the different bands that record for all three of us. I would love that.
I would love that too, in my lifetime and your lifetime as well, and to make it right here in the state of Texas. And speaking of which, you're coming up on your 50th anniversary of Freddie Records, and tonight on ABC, the Country Music Awards is having their 50th. Any major plans you'd like to share in regards to the 50th anniversary of Freddie Records?
Oh yes, we've been talking about it for a couple of years now. We've had several Freddie Fest during these years. We had some great ones where, people from all over came to see the different bands that record for us. But we are planning one for the 50th, and it would probably be in the Corpus Christi arena, which holds like about close to 10,000 people. We're already talking to some of the bands and making a few plans here and there, but we definitely are going to do something for our 50th anniversary, which is not too far away.
That's right. It's 3 years away, and we like you to bring it to Houston. Houston would love to have Freddie Records' 50th anniversary held here in Houston. We have venue.
We will probably have to have it in Corpus because that's our home.
I see.
And in Houston and in San Antonio.
Okay. All right. As long as you include Houston.
We'll probably have to bring this anniversary to all three spots.
Absolutely. And we have huge venues, 50,000, 60,000 venues, so for everybody to enjoy the music. So, again, Freddie, you're recognized as one of the most successful songwriters, producers, and arrangers for Tejano music. What can you say to songwriters, up-and-coming songwriters, in regards to our music? Can you give some advice in regards to up-and-coming songwriters?
Yes, the songwriter always needed by all the different companies. We certainly need songwriters. We have a line of songwriters that work exclusively with us. And when there's a band in the studio recording, we usually have at least one or two songwriters there, pitching their songs to them. And so, yes, the songwriters are really needed. I advise all people that think they have their talent with songwriting, which if it's just lyrics, because some of the writers come to us with just lyrics, and we put the melodies to the music. So yes, it's very important to have songwriters come in and do their you never know, you may become a Juan Gabriel.
There you go. That's right, because he was a songwriter as well. I have a question from Facebook. They're asking, what does Freddie Records look for in a new artist? What do you look for?
Well, I look for originality. Someone that's original, not trying to copy another artist because that other artist is already there. Try to be something different and try to select your material very carefully. Material is very important. That's why I'm talking about the songwriters. You need to select a songwriter that writes good, and then get together with him and just look at all the materials, but mainly be original. Don't try to be like anybody. Like Ramon Ayala, there's a Ramon Ayala already, and nobody's going to stop him. Mm-hmm. You got to be different to get to where he's at. And if you were talking about Tejano music, well, there's already a Lil Joe. There's already a Agustin Ramirez. There's already a Sonny Osuna. So, try to be original, and that way you have a much better chance.
Well, there you go. And maybe one day you'll win an award as well, from the Grammys to the Tejano Music Awards to the Latin Grammys. Mr. Martinez, I want to thank you for the last 48 minutes that we've been talking commercial-free in regards to the history of Chicano music. It was Chicano back when you and I grew up, and just recently made it into Tejano music. So I will always remember it as Chicano music. So, I grew up in that era, along with all our listeners around the world. If you wanted to share a message to our radios escuchas desde Mexico, would you like to share something with them in Español? Because we are listening to in Mexico as well. A lot of listeners están escuchando de la capital de Mexico right now. What would you say to them right now?
Well, I would say muchas gracias por todo lo que han hecho para mi música. Han seguido mi música por tantos y tantos y tantos años, de lo cual estoy muy agradecido con toda mi gente que prefiere la música tejana, y que no se olviden de esta música tejana, porque esta música empezó hace muchos años, como dijiste antes de llamarnos la música chicana, y luego brincó a la música tejana. Entonces, toda esa gente que todavía sigue mucho la música tejana, como lo eres tú, Johnny, agradecemos a toda la gente que nos apoya y que sigan apoyándonos, porque nosotros que tocamos esta música tejana estamos haciendo todo lo posible por producir música para nuestra gente, que le gusta a nuestra gente. Y una vez, Johnny, a través de Houston Finest Tejano Radio, te agradezco mucho que me pongas en la radio para platicar y para charlar con toda la gente que te escucha. Y una vez más, para darles las gracias a ellos, y que Dios me los bendiga a todos. Vamos a seguir adelante. Gracias a Dios por todo.
Well, thank you so much, Freddie. Again, make it a great day in Corpus Christi, and thank you so much. And again, congratulations and good luck to you for the awards this coming season, and in regards to the Grammys and Latin, and of course the TTMA. So again, good luck to you and everyone else who are participating in the awards show. Again, thank you, Freddie. We're going to go in with another song right here on Houston's Finest Tejano Radio. Thank you so much for listening.
I really enjoyed recording this CD with you. Fue un gran gusto para mí.
Thank you, Freddie.
Creo que todos le echamos bastante ganas, y a todos les va a gustar. And I'm so proud of all of you guys to be here by your side, working on this next CD. There's just a lot of things that we can reminisce on. Carlos, let's start off by saying, ¿cuántos años piensas tú, o cuánto crees tú que entre todos tenemos de andar en la música tejana?
Wow. I'm going to throw a number at you that may not be credible, but it is. Approximately 250 years of music. I'm so proud to be part of this project, and exposing again what little or what big talent we have en lo que es nuestra cultura musical, que es la música tejana.
And you know, you're right. Each one of us has over 50 years, so it's over 250 years. And I can remember one time when you and I played in Chicago together, and this was back in the early 70s. Recuerdo que los dos traíamos mucha gripa, el flu. No sabíamos cómo íbamos a hacer, pero gracias a Dios todo salió bien.
I remember I used to buy a lot of that chloroseptic for the tonsils. You know, they told the first time that I went to allá para el cold weather, para Michigan y todo, para el Midwest, pues I wasn't used to the climate up there, ¿me entiendes? And so the first times that I started going up there, ¿me entiendes? Me enfermaba, fíjate. The first time, the second time, I think even the third time. Pero that chloroseptic, man, they made a lot of money with me. Those pesos. But, you know, later on, you know, once like, I got used to the climate, cold, you know, in the Texas weather, blah, blah, blah. Then you start, you know.
It was real cold. Esa vez it was real cold, but we pulled it off. It was a good job, and I remember that all you guys, Sonny used to go, Joe Bravo and Carlos. And
bring Tina here, because you just reminded me of the Sunlows, when the Sunlows after Sunday left. We went to Chicago to play on New Year's Eve. I couldn't feel my feet. I mean, it was so cold over there. I had 2 pairs of socks. Y me andaba muriendo de frío. I mean, it was so cold. And it was a New Year's Eve. I couldn't believe it. Que andaba yo en Chicago. Y la gente como si nada. You know? That's right. It didn't even bother them.
Talking about that era, Joe, how about la época de Sonny and the Sunline, or Sonny Osuna in particular, and Joe Bravo going to the crossover? You guys did it, man.
Yo le doy mucho crédito a Sonny because Talk to Me was a master of a hit. Talk to Me brought Sonny, el primer Chicano, you know, to be on American Bandstand. And I'm pretty sure that Sonny really liked that. Y son momentos y recuerdos that he's not going to forget.
Yeah. No, fíjate, así es, Joe, porque iba saliendo de la escuela secundaria, más bien de la high school. Burbank High School in San Antonio. The year was 1963, and you can imagine saliendo yo de la escuela secundaria, graduating, and that year I had the #1 song in the whole country.
That's right.
Como a teenager, you can imagine, excitado. I could not believe que se había comunicado Dick Clark ahora que quería que fuéramos a hacer la presentación en el programa. And you did Night Train, didn't you?
I did Night Train with una canción que grabé con Sam Rose, All Night Worker. And el único mexicano out there, you know, at night and Soul Train, you know what I mean?
Sonny, me acuerdo que a couple of years ago you told me that you had called the offices of Clark and you wanted to buy that show, that video. ¿Cuánto te pidieron?
Fíjate, cuando lo filmaron y nos queríamos informar, pues naturalmente te puedes imaginar qué grandísimo estaba el programa de televisión en ese entonces. Y querían acabar de filmarlo, querían $30,000. Nunca se movió de los $30,000, sabiendo que tu carrera en algún tiempo me ibas a decir tú, sabes que vale más pagarlo porque pues me está haciendo mucha falta.
That's a great story, Sonny. Y también cuando yo empezaba en aquellos años, en los 60s, antes de que tuviera botoncito cariño, pues íbamos a tocar al valle con diferentes promotores por allá y andaba Carlos Guzmán haciendo un escándalo por todas partes con la canción Vestida de Blanco. Esa canción, hasta la fecha, donde quiera que ando yo por ahí, que me preguntan por Carlos Guzmán, me dice, hoy todavía canta la Vestida de Blanco. ¿Todavía la cantas, Carlos?
Sí, pero desde 1964 hasta ahorita.
Carlos, puro Vestida de Blanco.
Y por ahí tú fuiste uno de los primeros que se presentó por allá en Madison Square Garden, Nueva York, right?
Exactamente, en los 70s, con el promotor que ustedes todos lo conocieron bien, el Gordo Delgado, me llevó con él para una caravana por allá en Madison Square Garden. Entonces, pues yo pensaba que la gente allá, pues imagínate New York, que iban a conocer la música tejana y por una sorpresa muy grande que me llevé, porque sí conocían la canción, que quiere decir que se estaba tocando por allá. Sobre esos eran tiempos muy bonitos. Cuando yo fui, yo llevé conmigo, ustedes conocieron muy bien al Güero Alegre, de San Antonio. Él fue conmigo para hacer promoción en esa ocasión. Entonces yo me sumé por la ventana y decía afuera, Festival Mexicano con puros artistas de México, estaban mencionando ahí, ¿no? Y dije, mira, bueno, no, mira, a nosotros no nos mencionan para nada. Digo, espérame un tantito, ahorita vengo. Pues como la media hora me habló el güero, dijo, asómate por la ventana. Y me asomé y decía Freddie Martinez.
Let me porque una época que yo escuchaba la promoción cuando te presentaban a ti en ciertos locales, que decía embajador de la música tejana. Y luego me preguntaba por qué el embajador. Pues cabe saber que Freddie Martinez fue uno de los primeros que empezó a ser reconocido en México, y sus canciones la grabó gente de otros calibres como Lucha Villa y otros, pero tu nombre empezó a explotar también en la República de México.
Hicimos muchas giras por allá en México. En 1973, de los 31 días que hay en el mes de diciembre, nosotros como la Orquesta Freddie Martinez trabajamos 30 días. O sea que trabajamos 16 días aquí en los Estados Unidos y 14 días en México. Gracias a Dios, mi música fue aceptada muy bien en toda la República Mexicana. Yo creo que tú no recuerdas esto. Estoy seguro que no lo recuerdas. Cuando yo tenía como 17 años, me presenté en Austin con los latinos. Estabas tocando tu guitarra con ellos.
No me acuerdo.
Tú no te acuerdas de eso, pero yo sí me acuerdo. Porque después cuando tú estabas muy fuerte, me dijeron, pues, ¿te acuerdas cuando Agustín andaba con los latinos? Y yo me presenté con él en una ocasión en Austin. So that's been a long time ago.
Yes, not that long.
Quisiera hacer un comentario, Fred. Reconocemos que hay demasiado muchos artistas que son responsables por aquella cosa linda que nosotros nombramos la música tejana, que en ese entonces, en nuestros días primarios, se conocía como la música chicana. y después naturalmente a la música tejana. Reconocemos a todos, no le quitamos nada a nadie porque ha tomado la carrera de muchos, en fin, de muchos artistas. Nada más queremos aclarar más o menos lo que nosotros más o menos pasamos en nuestro tiempo, en nuestro ratito que nos tocó a nosotros estar en el escenario.
¿Qué pasamos nosotros cuando comenzamos? Le estaba platicando yo a Freddie que me acuerdo que fuimos a tocar con los San Globos, fuimos a tocar en Toledo, Ohio, y no nos pagó un promotor, ni un centavo, se fue. Y ahí vamos nosotros para California con puro pan y bologna, comiendo pan y bologna.
Y bologna y pan.
Muchas veces se iban cuando estábamos
la vida artística.
No te dabas cuenta que se acababa
de eso que decía Sonny, recordamos naturalmente que hubo unos artistas cantantes antes de nosotros, porque cuando yo estaba chico yo escuchaba a otros cantantes y no estaba hablando de usted, estaba hablando de otros mucho más antes. Ellos eran Julano y su orquesta, ¿no? Voy a mencionar una persona porque era muy amigo mío y yo lo quise mucho, que era Isidro López. Y Isidro López era un gran artista, grandísimo el artista.
Yo cantaba todas las canciones.
Exactamente, todos.
Yo por ahí lo
Actually, there were some of the songs that I used to sing con Fred Sala, Latinos.
Isidro López era una gran persona, un gran artista. Pero la orquesta era Isidro López y su orquesta. Mi hermano Lito tocó con él muchos años. Y reconocemos de que todos estos artistas eran grandes y ahorita hay muchos artistas muy grandes. Estamos hablando nosotros de la época de los 60 para acá, cuando empezó por un par de años le llamaban la onda chicana y luego le pusieron la onda o la música tejana, que a eso no entramos nosotros. En los 60s había salones sin air condition, había puros caminos de caliche.
¿Te acuerdas de Jimmy Texas por allá donde bailaba la gente en la tierra?
Así es.
En la tierra.
Y como dijo Carlos, mucha gente, nosotros nos íbamos donde en West Texas, donde estaba la gente piscando y esto y lo otro, ¿no? Siguiendo para que se nos pusieran buenos los bailes. Por eso andábamos en West Texas, andábamos aquí y allá. Y esos eran los principios de la música tejana, que son ustedes, y yo también me considero, porque yo andaba en los 60 también. Mira, yo empecé mi carrera desde que tenía 15 años, cuando yo empecé. Me tardé unos cuantos años para lograr lo que ustedes lograron mucho primero que yo. La Patiente de Conejo, Talk to Me, Vestida de Blanco, Agustín Ramírez con el
My first one was Ojitos Traviesos.
Ojitos Traviesos y el Cabalocito, muchos éxitos.
Let me say this, guys. I'm very proud to be here this evening, compartiendo este momento con todos ustedes y sobre todo haber logrado una sesión en el estudio de grabación que para mí en lo particular ha sido una superproducción muy bien lograda, muy bien cuidada, muy bien dirigida, muy bien ingeniería. Bueno, todo lo que se refiere a la grabación que hemos logrado para dejarles un momento de nostalgia y recuerdos cuando ustedes por allá que les gusta la música nuestra, lo obtengan, lo compren, lo gocen, porque verdaderamente gracias al señor Freddie Martinez y todos los que colaboramos le pusimos muchas ganas, mucho entusiasmo, mucho cariño.
Queremos que la gente se dé cuenta que esto es parte de la historia de la música tejana. Yo en particular quiero agradecer a ustedes que son mis hermanos en música, que son mis compañeros a través de tantos años y por estar en este proyecto todos juntos, que para mí, como les dije antes, es un honor cantar con ustedes en primeras voces, en segundas voces, en terceras, con mis amigos de tantos años, y gracias a ustedes que están con nosotros en este proyecto, mis amigos y mis hermanos en Dios. Gracias a todos por todo, y yo creo que con esto terminamos esta discusión de la historia de la música tejana.
Damas y caballeros, esperen. Las leyendas se presentan por todos los Estados Unidos.
From the fourth largest city in the United States, which is Houston, Texas, we are Houston's finest, TEJANO Radio.